Good evening everyone, welcome back to Tom Plays Factorio for absolute beginners. We have just basically vastly improved the iron, started making lubricant, we're researching uranium mining. Because the lubricant is something you use with drones, so I would like to start massively gearing up our standard power. So looking at a third iron mine, primarily, and while that one is tempting because it's big, to be fair, they're probably all pretty big. And yeah, I'm seriously thinking maybe we should just go for that one. Would there be a way to... use this one to get down there? Could even fill in the lake. There is something we can research that allows us to build land where there's water. Don't usually bother. Interesting. Getting a tax on Copper Mine South. That would technically give me a reason to go down there. No, I think we should go for this one. It's better to fill in gradually, so there's a lot of things. There's like the crude oil, stone, lots of stuff in between us and this. So I'd rather go for that when we're going for those as well. Plus I'm going to want this uranium potentially. Might want some of the coal. So we're going to need to eliminate these bases. I'm going to try and use these two to get to that iron mine. Yeah, let's do that. So let's just... alright, we've got some ammunition. Probably don't need it that badly. I was going to check accumulators, just in case we get an opportunity to drop some off. There. They live over here. But in all likelihood all we're going to be doing this time is... oh, that's pretty good. Laying some rails and taking down one of the enemy bases, I would imagine. And by an astonishing coincidence, we have a stone train that needs moving out of the way. So we could obviously put the accumulators here, but I actually want to go to the western stone, well, quarry and iron mine anyway. At the moment, it just so happens. Do I not have any other doors? Oh, I do have another door. Good. Do you need to be careful with these trains? Right, so actually we can lay down some accumulators here. It's definitely going to be a while before we have nuclear power. Takes quite a while to get that up and running if you want it to be sustainable. So having these in the meantime will certainly be a plus. Kind of hoping this will make quite a big difference actually. Obviously it's going to be too late for tonight, but hopefully tomorrow they will all fill up and we can look forward to not running out of power quite so easily. Do we have some solar panels as well? We do. Not many, but we've got a few. So I can up the rate at which they're charging as well. There, brilliant. Okay, we've finished studying uranium mining, so that now will allow us to, because we need sulphuric acid in order to mine uranium, so we can now do that. However, we're going to need more than just that. We're going to need uranium processing. Ah, right, in order to research that we need to mine uranium, so that's fair. I can live with that, I think. Is there anything else we will need uranium for, though? Not immediately. That's the landfill thing. The option we would have for filling in the lakes, should we wish to. Okay, let's do a lab research speed. Just while we get the basic uranium mining sorted. Right, so I want to expand these railways first. So our first act of business has to be to clear this base. No way to do it that doesn't involve trees, sadly. But I want to give a decently wide berth anyway to our base, so I may need to clear some in any case. Let's see. Maybe I'll send this one round. A little inefficient, but makes room for the other one. Have a nice little coastal sightseeing tour whenever we're on this train. Okay, see if we can clear this base as well. Looks like the attacks are stepping up a bit. So we must do likewise. A bit more decisive. Yeah, grief. This is bad. Alright, I am now out of grenades. So that is where my attack stops. Well, that's fine. Is that the copper train at home? So yeah, we'll see what effect all of these new accumulators have on our energy readouts, whether we're now keeping power all the way through the night. Excellent. Actually, thinking about it, did I have productivity modules? I did not. So let's put some in here as well. At least get the busiest ones. Improve things a little. Right. Take me home. Let's go do some uranium mining one way or another. Not much iron. Is that because you're there? It is because you're there. Excellent. You come back and drop stuff off. Anything I need to lose? Nothing obvious. Got some stone, of course. Okay. So, I'm going to need some electric mining drills. I need to make sulphuric acid. Which is this. So for that I'm going to need a chemical plant. Now if I wanted to make sulphur, that would also be a chemical plant. And if I wanted to make petroleum gas, that would be an oil refinery. Have to use the old recipe for that, but that's absolutely fine. I can live with that, I think. But we do need some stone bricks. Actually, the stone bricks, they're all in here, aren't they? Oil refinery. Should have taken them from there. Never mind. Who's using them? This chap over here, it would appear. Have some stone bricks. Right, so has that left us low on anything obvious? Nothing immensely obvious, I don't think. Okay. Let's get this set up. Grief. Looks like we're out of power already. I wonder if that's because they didn't manage to fully charge. Maybe we need more solar panels. Just check. I think maybe, yeah, it's not, you see there's no flat top like there used to be, so I think we actually need to put down more solar panels. Nonetheless, right, so in theory all of this is connected. So if I want to make sulfur, okay, so first I need petroleum. So I want the basic petroleum gas recipe. Crude oil, petroleum gas, that's fine. And then I want a chemical plant. Actually, let's make it a little longer. Ooh, tell you what, instead of making it longer, let's do these two sideways. Okay, so you're going to use petroleum and water to make sulfur, and you're going to use sulfur to make sulphuric acid, which we're then going to use to mine. Here's the plan. Okay, apparently I can make a couple of storage tanks. Not enough, but a couple. That will allow me to do another one of these. Actually, let's do a pump. I think I still have the odd one knocking around. I know I don't technically need them, but I feel better for having them. Right, so that will produce oil. No, it won't. It'll produce petroleum gas, which is good because that needs to go in the top here. So if I just take you as a standard pipe, just connect you two together. Doesn't mean I'm not doing any storage. Okay, so for my next trick I need water, of course. these active water pumps that mysteriously don't need any power. Because if they did, the game would be really difficult to get started. We'll bring you nice and northern so we can avoid the uranium mines. As much as is practical, at least. Does make it a bit close to where the attacks are going to happen, which isn't ideal, but I suppose if I put you there, just get these, fill them in. Okay. Right, so you're producing sulphur. Water, sulphur and iron plate. Ah, this is where we're going to fall down. We don't have any way of getting iron plates. And we also need water. Okay. So on the grounds that we will likely find ourselves running out of iron plates, if anything, just thinking having the box there will allow us to accumulate sulphur when there are no iron plates to be had. We're also going to need a lot of storage, I think. Just to be on the safe side. Okay, so we're at least making sulphur. So we've got a problem with the iron plates. Not that big a problem. We can just have them drop off iron plates here occasionally. Right. Or maybe again, when the iron plates do come in, I don't want them running out if we can possibly avoid it. The one getting stuck mostly, actually. Okay. So we do the bulk inserters there. Okay, so what are we actually going to need? I definitely need a lot of storage. Also, how are we actually going to do this? Could go across the line and use all of this space. But then there's a lot of space downwards as well. So maybe this would be a good option. So if I start here, so what we need to do is pipe to ground. Hopefully it's fairly clear what I'm doing here. It's basically because we need sulphuric acid in order to mine uranium. It's a bit of a more complex setup than we're used to with our mining. Oh, perfect. At least if I can get there in time, just about. Right, so I think we need a lot of iron and steel. I need some storage areas. Need to make sure we have enough pipes to ground. And I think when our larger iron mine is doing a drop-off, I think we might need to... Oh, these trains are separate, aren't they? That's interesting. That could give me a bit of a problem. Okay. Okay, well, no problem. Makes things a bit more interesting. I'm really starting to wish I'd just brought the sulphur up. Mind you, it's the sulphuric acid that's the problem, isn't it? The sulphur we're managing to make without any real issues. Right, let me make a bunch of storage tanks. Boxes, couple more bulk inserters, a decent sized ton of pipes to ground. So I'm going to need to get some more standard pipes, which I think live up here. That might actually be a reason to do a northern iron mine, I suppose. Okay, well, let's do this the silly way first. I'm going to give them iron manually, because that should at least be enough to get the research done. Obviously allowed this section to go a bit long without any breaks. Never mind. Still, maybe it wouldn't hurt to have a few traffic lights here. At least put one here. Oh yeah, it's not happy, is it? Okay. Put one there as well. And one here. So you can just go there. Is that enough to make you happy? I think that's enough to make you happy. Can't see any other traffic lights freaking out. Okay, so. Nope, I didn't want to make another one. Still works okay, I guess. Okay, so if I take you, knock you down to there, and join you two up. Drop a load of iron. Might help if I actually connect these together. And these are starting to fill up with sulphuric acid. Going to need some power. Okay, it's not happy about something. Missing required fluid, that's because I haven't filled in this corner. And there we go. We are now mining uranium. Okay, so we've apparently now learned uranium processing. So the problem with this is I now need to pick this out somewhere, out of the ones we've done. There we are. So that allows us to make a centrifuge, and it gives us a recipe for the centrifuge. Okay, can I actually build a centrifuge? No. So this is one of the things we need concrete for. But that's fine. We'll just leave it uranium mining. I could do some... What am I thinking? Sorry, mine's going. Productivity modules. I could do some productivity modules. A lot of this stuff's pretty valuable, although it's unlikely we'll run out of uranium. I'd still like to conserve it because, as you may have noticed, it's probably the rarest thing on the map. I'm also going to want many steel boxes, because uranium has a bit of a problem, which you'll look at. But in the meantime, let me just make a ridiculous number of steel boxes. And then I will just grab some more iron and steel. And we will see how our concrete is doing, because I haven't actually looked at the concrete for a while, but hopefully it is doing well enough that I can get a centrifuge built. So I think it's just standard concrete, and we needed 100, which works out nicely. There we go. Got room for one centrifuge. That's really all we need, but we did want to pick up some productivity modules. And back we go. Yeah, we need another one of these. This has definitely become a bottleneck. A couple of productivity modules. Did we ever put any in this one? We did. Okay, well that's good. Why are these two at the bottom and that one's in the middle? Yeah, never mind. Does not really matter, I suppose. Okay, brilliant. Yep, nicely full up. Okay, so centrifuge. So our recipe is uranium processing, and this is our problem. The vast majority of the time, uranium produces this centrifuge will create uranium-238. In fact, let's pull up the recipe again, because that's a lot more clear. So 99.3% of the time we get uranium-238. Very occasionally we get uranium-235. That's not going to be enough, so there is a process we can research, which is here, Kovarex enrichment process, but it needs, I think, 50 uranium-235 to get started. So we basically cannot do uranium power sustainably until we have 50 of these, which is going to take a long time. Okay, so gonna get a couple of fast inserters to produce the two types of uranium. And to start with, I'm just going to store them. In ridiculous amounts when it comes to the oh, good grief. Didn't mean to do that. Have I picked some up? No, I haven't. Okay, that's fine. Right, so let me make one of these. And that should do it. Definitely want some production modules here. Now what I need to do is filter these. So we're going to use filters, and this one is going to be uranium-235. And this one is going to be uranium-238. I don't even know why I'm bothering with this many boxes over here. Okay, so that probably is excessive. And there are other things we can use uranium-238 for, but I just need to keep this process going. So this is fine, because we want it to run like this until we have 50 uranium-235s, and then we can go on to the next step. So that's the uranium mining done at least, except I want productivity modules everywhere, with the one exception that we don't have a sustainable source of iron, or at least, you know, an automated source of iron. So that does make me wonder whether we ought to be looking at that iron mine up there. We certainly could, couldn't we? So we might be opening 2 iron mines potentially. But yeah, to be fair, I might just leave it there for now, because that's a good solid bit of progress. So we made a little bit of progress towards an iron mine down here before discovering we need one more urgently up here, and added another advanced circuit assembler to speed things up down there. But the main thing is we have got our basic uranium mining and processing up and running. So the uranium-235 is basically enriched uranium. It's a lot more volatile because it has fewer neutrons in the isotope, so it's far more likely to split, as in splitting the atom, which is how we produce power from a nucleus, hence nuclear power. So yeah, we're going to need a lot of this, and it's going to be a while before we even get one. Remember, it's 0.7% for every... So let's see, for every 130 or so maybe of these that we create, we're only going to get one U235, and we need 50 U235s before I personally would consider it worth starting nuclear power, because otherwise you'll find yourself, even though you don't need as much U235, you'll find yourself running out, and then all your nuclear power will stop, and by that time you'll find that you're reliant upon it. You'll have made your drones, you'll be depending on nuclear power, and then you will have basically a massive blackout in your power. So I always think, before you even start using nuclear power, get the Cobra-X process up and running, for which we need around 50 of these. And as you can see, we currently have none. So yeah, we need to get this working, and then we need to leave it for a very, very long time before we can have nuclear power. We are struggling a bit here, aren't we? In terms of it getting backed up. Just maybe wonder if we could do another one of these. So that'll be something to look at, I suppose. But I will leave that for next time. So yeah, we may need 2 iron mines, because I'd forgotten we needed iron here for the sulphuric acid, and we also want another iron mine over in the southwest. So lots of iron mines for next time, but at least we've got this running, so we can start in the search for sufficient uranium-235. So that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.